So, Barry has responded to the Remu document, and you know, I gotta give some points to Barry because it's a short document, 5 pages long, but each page is packed with destruction. The amount of destruction per page is substantial. And Nijisanji is just like the Dawson Creek of VTuber corpos, I suppose. Her document actually got mass reported and it's now down. So people can't view it anymore. And if you click on it, you see that it's down due to terms of services. Some people, you know, were like, oh, why did she delete it? She didn't delete it. It got reported. Mostly because in it, she showcased some screenshots and she color-coded them with like the colors of each liver. So some fans have been reporting it because they believe it's doxing and she's adding fuel to the fire, etc., etc. So, Barry Love here says, I want to sincerely apologize for frequently deleting my tweets. I understand how this might appear from an outsider's perspective, especially when discussing serious issues. Thank you for giving me the space to make mistakes and learn from them. Here's my final response. And in the comments here, she's getting a lot of pushback, but people are really not focusing on the right things or reading the doc properly because it's what she revealed in there is just insane. In terms of the initial accusations, we're gonna talk about it. I find it maybe a little bit more flimsy, but she basically kamikaze herself into this, and she was like, this is like a Menhera versus Menhera dev battle at this point. And she's like, if I look crazy, I'm gonna take you down with me, Remu. Thank you for your patience in reading yet another document, she writes. I know I've gone back and forth quite a bit, and I'm really sorry. This has been nerve-wracking time, and I acted impulsively rather than speaking on what truly mattered. Thank you again for your patience. It wasn't fair to anyone involved, and I regret any pain I've potentially caused. I will not speak on this matter after this. There seems to be confusion about consent, so I got permission from my former partner. So this is already huge, because people were saying that, you know, she had a falling out with Ike since she's not with him anymore, but him giving his consent to share additional screenshots, meaning that he sort of stands behind this, it's huge. It gives a lot of weight to her statements. So she writes here, I met Marie in 2017 prior to dating my former partner. We worked on a song project together and were Twitter mutuals under my previous alias, Rin. We already knew each other as acquaintances before everything took place. Marie FD group cover, and she's pointing to a group cover they did together in February 15, 2017. Yeah, so at this point, she's not just some crazy ex-girlfriend going solo, as Remu's document kind of painted her as. My former partner had a friend who developed an unhealthy attachment towards him, which subsequently created a toxic dynamic and led to his exclusion from multiple social gatherings while she was in the process of healing from a prior relationship. My former partner was a very kind and supportive friend to everyone. Mary often turned to him for dating advice. She frequently had vent sessions with him about her insecurities and issues she encountered while speaking about anonymous websites. This specific conversation references a previous ASMR her ex did publicly. So the ex in question here is believed to be Vox, and these are screenshots which is supposedly Ike and Remu talking with each other, with Remu venting about her relationship with Vox after he did an ASMR. Ike says, I mean, Remu says, so one day we were working in his studio and she called him. Ike says, Vox's fan base. And she says here, and he was in the bathroom. So I cut the call, Lamau. I'm sorry. And when I did, I kind of ended up reading the first page of their convo. I'm so sorry. I know that was wrong, but I didn't scroll up or anything. It was just the latest logs. Ike says, yeah, no, that's not really okay. Remu says, when you cancel the call, the little tab disappears and the convo is like right there. So I ended up reading it and I noticed they legitimately called every 2 days for like, not exaggerating, like 8 hours. And she sent him fucking bikini picture. And when I saw that, I was like, I left the room and I didn't say anything. 1, I was jealous. 2, I couldn't concentrate. And 3, I was scared that if I stayed, I just want to scroll up and read more. He says that's highly inappropriate in my personal opinion on their part. So I just went to another room and worked. Then we had a talk in the bathtub and I told him how uncomfortable she made me and how I wanted him to at least make some boundaries. So I made that clear. I didn't want him to cut her off because the least I wanted is to like limit his friendships and seem like these annoying, jealous, controlling girlfriends. But like at least just treat her as an artist you're commissioning because that's what he wanted to do supposedly. Then some days went by and I was drunk and I was chilling, sitting behind him, and I noticed they were talking again. And because I was drunk, I got emotional and that's when we fought. And he strangely got really defensive. And I had to clear out like no joke 4 times in the convo. I wasn't blaming him and that it wasn't his fault and all I wanted were boundaries. And he kept saying he couldn't cut her off because he was scared of what she'd do if he did. And he just didn't know what to do. So every time I ask him, so what I get from this is nothing will happen and I just need to get used to her then, he'd get angry and like I felt he was slowly shifting the convo towards like me being that annoying, jealous girlfriend. And I felt really bad. Like to a point I felt like I was the bad guy and I shouldn't be talking about it again. So it ended with him apologizing and me apologizing as well. And he said he'd try to set boundaries. And that's where the thing ended. So this is rumored to be about this fan artist that we spoke about in both Barry's doc and Barry's tweet. That was the artist slash cosplayer that would self-insert with Vox. Well, it turns out that he's been, calling her on Discord for a long time. She's sending him bikini pictures and Rima was not okay with it. She says, and that's where the thing ended. It was bad. Right now I feel better because I tried just to do stuff and I think on something else. But like I felt so fucking anxious when it was happening. Like I kept telling him at some point I did trust him. But then the way she acts makes me not trust her. And it makes me doubt. And I was sorry for that. At some point he did tell me she just casually asked one day like, oh, I was reading that Doxxed page and they're talking a lot about Reimu. Are you guys dating? So basically the fan artist is asking Vox because she went into a doc site and they're talking about his relationship with Reimu and she's asking, are you guys dating? And then Reimu says, I got so pissed. He answered like, fucking you, no, Lamau. And I told him I didn't like it and he said it was just for acting and blah, blah, blah. But the fact that she came to ask him about it made me super pissed off. So this fan artist asked him, hey, are you dating Reimu? And he's like, ew, no. And then he tells that to his girlfriend and she's like, what the fuck? Why did you tell her that? Like, that's brutal. And he's just like, oh, whatever. I just wanted to get her off our back. The fact that she came to ask him about it made me super pissed. Not even my friend do that. That snooping kind of attitude pissed me off. And apparently, she looks at 4chan and that doc site all the time and brings that shit to Vox. I just don't like her. At one point of the convo, I did tell him, what if she just randomly sends you a nude or a DK or I DK a picture in underwear or a bikini? I didn't tell him I knew she had seen it because I feel really shit about it. And he said, oh no, if that happens, I just cut it off right there. And that answer made me so sad. Like, I see. So yeah, that complicates things a lot, Ike's response. And then she continues. And that's about it, like a quick summary. Sorry for vomiting it all out again. Ike responds, all good, but yeah, that's rough. And then Reimu responds, I kept trying to make him understand the kind of power he had in this sort of situation. Ike responds, like, having a female friend is fine. Hell, even talking to them a lot is fine, even if I think it's a bit strange to be calling for that long with someone you're not romantically interested in. She responds, because that girl is a fucking fan and she's in love with him. And he kept saying, oh, I swear, I never knew she liked me. And then at another part of the conversation, he said, oh, I've actually turned her down twice. Like, in hills. Ike says, that's contradicting statement. She says, yeah. The more I kind of like tried pushing it the least aggressive way, the more he ended up like contradicting and then panicking because past trauma and like kept saying he was scared of cutting her off. So I just ended with try to make boundaries because what the hell? He says, I think boundaries are reasonable. It's just like I personally would never engage this much with a fan. So she writes here in the doc, my former partner and I never had problems when it came to female friends. I've always been open about my interactions with women and have even drawn fan art, something I did because I wanted to celebrate different dynamics. I traveled to Japan to watch them perform. I've bought merchandise from many of the girls. I've slept over, I don't know, Teal Name House. I don't remember who's Teal again. And I've even had collabs with mutual female friends. However, it's important to note that I stopped drawing after one of her fans attacked my thumbnail art unprovoked. I stopped because of insecurity about my art, but not my relationship. That's Millie. Teal is Millie. Okay, thank you. He says, it just feels wrong. There's such a big power imbalance. She responds, and he kept saying he did it because he had no one by his side when our drama happened and he had no one to vent. And I told him, yeah, he did. He had friends, man. He had you. And he was like, yeah, but I felt everyone was by your side, like on your team, including Ike. And I was like, sigh, just goddamn it. Ike says I was on no one's side. She says, yeah, exactly. I told him. All I told him is that I was disappointed in how he handled the fallout. Then she says she was a fan no matter what he did. She'd always be by your side, and that's not how actual friends act. Hell, we don't go to 4chan and the Doxxed site and keep feeding him shit. At the first talk, I just told him I'd wish he had not vented with her out of all people, like, man. Yeah, but what done is done. We can only hope he holds true to his promise about boundaries. Then, there's a screenshot here. How was your trip, baby? Met your girlfriend. And I think this is Millie. This is, purple is... And she says, so jealous. And then this is the same screenshot that Barry posted in her other tweet, in her other doc. And it's Barry saying, I give zero fuck, Lamau. And everything that's barred out in white, it's something Nijisanji related. But we don't know what exactly. Like, it could be a Niji event, it could be Nijisanji, it could be anything Niji related. Barry responds, lol, as you should. She says, it's crazy, like she cosplays as Vox, but then it's so obvious that she self-inserts with Vox in her fan art, right? At first I thought it was crazy, then I'd see her super horny super chats, I'd see him use his thumbnails, then I'd see him like her tweets only, then I'd see him replying only to her. Barry says Vox, then I see his talking to her on Discord. She adds here, it appeared that this was the same person she had briefly vented to my former partner about. She once mentioned blocking them on her company account and brought them up again a year later in conversation. She admitted going through her ex Discord message via his DM and my DM. So what does this establish here? Well, first of all, Reimu claimed in her response that her relationship ended amicably. But this doesn't look like a relationship that ended amicably at all. It seems like Vox was kind of shitty. And yeah, so there's already that. And secondly, it looks like, you know, she was venting to Ike. They had this close relationship. So it kind of puts a little bit more weight onto Barry's statement when she says that she might have tried to hit on Ike after that. Like she might have tried to get him as a rebound. Then she adds, at in-person events, I observed Mary behaving in a flirtatious manner towards my former partner, including an incident where she threw herself onto him with enough force to nearly topple a chair, witnessed by multiple people. I was also informed that she made a personal confession to him. I privately expressed my discomfort to Mary via messages and a call with 2 others. She claimed not to recall the incident due to alcohol consumption, but agreed to stop creating shipping content involving him from May 1st, 2023, and I believe the matter was resolved at the time. Establishing boundaries. The screenshots Mary provided in her document were cut to show a different narrative. My former partner confronted her about her actions, which you can see in the screenshots below. And in this segment, this is pretty big because it proves that Reimu edited her screenshots. And look, leaving things out of context leaving things out of a screenshot doesn't automatically make you guilty. You know, sure, it looks bad, but then you gotta see what was removed. Does it change the context? Does it change the story? And in Reimu's case, it directly refutes what she was arguing about. It directly refutes her points because in her document, she said that she was sober. But in the screenshots that she removed, there's Ike here saying, you were somewhat drunk if I recall correctly, but I vividly remember how it happened. I even pulled away to the point where I was sliding off my chair. You can ask others that were there if my account doesn't seem to add up. As for Rin, I don't know how she feels about the ordeal. This is just my feelings on the matter I can ask. And then he says, I appreciate it, thank you. And then here, do you feel comfortable if I just don't retweet any fan art with you? It's just to avoid any misunderstanding. He responds, regular art should be fine. It's just the shipping stuff that got me uncomfy. This was in the doc. And this part here, she also had removed. I see. I'm so sorry I made you uncomfortable. It didn't even cross my mind, even after I sobered up. I'm so sorry. I don't remember ever having weird intentions towards you or Rin, and I thought it was just me being dumb and laughing. I'm sorry I crossed your boundaries and space. So there's Ike here saying that she was drunk, And then there's her here saying that she's sobering up. So obviously she was under the influence of alcohol and she lied about it in her response document. Then she says, no, I'm sorry if I, made you uncomfortable, yada, yada. We read this yesterday. And here, these messages were also cut out of the screenshots that Mary provided in her document. She says, I'm so sorry, Ike, I'll do better. And he says, let's both do our best from here out. Yeah. And she says, don't hesitate to tell me if I fuck up again. These ones are not that important. It's more about, her inebriated state. So this kind of exposed Mary as a liar. And refuted that part of the document. This is the original screenshots that she had showed in her document, so it's just like for comparison, so we don't need to read them again. Reference to Mary's document, as well as past friends who knew more about her past action, and they as well haven't talked with her over 3 years, mainly to discomfort and fear. So in Mary's document, she brings up like past friends or acquaintances to corroborate the fact, kind of to say that, the friends don't really talk to Barry anymore because she made them uncomfortable or they feared her, but she never provides any evidence of that. And Barry says here, this was never communicated to me. I'm sure what past actions or friend this references. If you'd like to discuss these claims, could you please clarify which past actions you're referring to? I want to understand fully and take responsibility where it's due. I received a cease and desist letter after noticing that her screenshots left out key context regarding her involvement. Immediately cease and desist from publishing, reposting, or otherwise communicating any further or false or misleading or defamatory statement concerning our client. This is a direct quote from the cease and desist letter I have received. So she received a cease and desist letter after Mary put out her document. And she's still going, so she's pretty brave. After we set a boundary with Mary, we noticed that we were increasingly excluded from events and ignored without explanation. My former partner later spoke with our mutual friend as it became evident that Mary seemed to be allowing her breakup with her ex, which is Vox, to negatively affect both the friendships and the group work's dynamic. Additionally, she once suggested we leave her ex out during a trip. And she says, I'm sorry, you'll have to see Vox in Niji-related event. Bro, if he ends up hanging out with you and Ike, please take Ike on a date. Ditch Vox. And this part is the most explosive part of the document. So my former partner talked to a manager in response to being around his bullies during recording. So this is kind of the proof that there's been workplace harassment and bullying in Nijisanji. And this is a conversation between Ike and a Nijisanji manager. Okay, this is huge. So Ike says, can I talk to you? It's important. It's regarding the Nijisanji event with, this is supposedly Shu. Members of Nijisanji are paired with guests at the Nijisanji event. I'm paired with my bullies. Can I please switch? I didn't see it on the script until now. If it's too late, I'll just try to tough it out. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Manager says, okay, I will talk to Shu and Vox in person. Ike says, thank you, I really appreciate it, and I'm so sorry once again for causing trouble. Manager says, no problem at all. Shu said he is okay with swapping with, and we believe this is Sunny, because Luca made less sense once we dig into it. Okay, thank you both, I'm so grateful. Please join the voice chat so that we can do a mic check. Is it required? I'd rather not speak to them, I'm afraid. Yes, okay. In the future, I never wish to be associated with them. They doxed me. Understood. So the bullies doxed Ike, and they're still in the company. And look at the dates of their screenshots. 20/05/2024. So this is what, June 20, 2024? That means that was after Selengate. After they told us they would review company policies. After everything that happened, after all the backlash, and there is still workplace harassment going on at Nijisanji, but not just workplace harassment, bullying and doxing between the talents. So we narrowed it down, and we figured out that the event is Shoes, and it's not like I'm saying shoe when I say that. I can't play the sound here, but it looks like this is it. So he was replaced with Sunny here, and who's next to him is Reimu and Enna. And like all the colors kind of check out here, because there's Sunny mentioned, there's, bullies plural, so there's more than one, and then there's Shu that's mentioned, this is his event, and Vox. So Shu's here. So yeah, Ike and Sunny swap places so Ike wouldn't be next to Reimu and Enna. We believe it is, you know, the Shu 3D event called Welcome to My Dimension. There's Vox and Ike here. Crazy stuff. So Ike is in Vox group. The Clique is real. The Rrat is real. But there's more. It's not just that. There's actually more. My foreigner partner was also excluded from Millie's event. So we pieced things together. If people have been going crazy over this shit on different forums, on different discords, getting context clues here and there. So on April 19, 2024, he was live tweeting throughout the event and discovered that he wasn't included in the first 4 waves of participants featured during Millie's live watch. This coincides with his live tweets he found out by watching the live recording alongside TL. So Ike says, so am I getting added to the group chat, or are we just doing this over DM? Or did something come up? Let me know. And he said, hey, so what's going on? I haven't heard anything from you, but I keep hearing about all these plans from other peoples that are coming here. Millie says, gonna make one now. Sorry, we don't have a group chat, but everything is just being planned on Hangouts whenever we can. He says, really? Others have told me there is one. Did they lie? Then she says, we had one, but it's for a Nijisanji event. And, wait, we said this was Illyra. And Illyra's bestie is in it. Ike responds, interesting. Does the bestie not like me or something? Is that why a new group chat had to be made specifically for me? Also, isn't it odd how this is the second time something like this happens where I am strangely excluded from group chats when there's a meetup with friends in Nijisanji? I'm just letting you know how it looks. Then she doesn't respond for like 10 minutes. And he's like, I don't think I'm asking a difficult question here. Would it be alright if I ask for an answer? Millie responds, first of all, please let me know if I'm getting this the wrong, but the way you talk right is a little bit passive-aggressive. I just made a group chat specifically for the Nijisanji group people, and we didn't exactly have any plans besides the one we just talked in Hangouts. Even the Nijisanji something was something that was planned beforehand with our IRL friends. It just happened that it landed on the date during Nijisanji, and this is Aya, and this is Wilson to come here and hang out VC. Also, I wanted to address something too. When I asked you for Nijisanji event, and it was around June, I thought we are in good terms. However, I've noticed that you unfollowed me on Twitter, and I got hesitant to reach out to you because I thought you didn't like me. So I'm feeling a little confused about our friendship, especially right now because of how you're being really passive-aggressive with me. I'm going through a lot right now, and I just feel super attacked for no reason. And dude just asked a question. I mean, he wants answers. It's not passive-aggressive. It was pretty direct, actually. And I hate this. I'm going through a lot thing whenever you're being questioned a little bit. And you know what? Like, after reading this, I'm looking at all the other Millie comments differently. Because this is really how she talks. Like the response to Doki during the whole Selengate. What happened? Yada yada. Are you sure you didn't do a mistake? Are you sure this isn't in your head? You're being passive-aggressive. I don't know. Girl gives me weird vibes. Ike says, I'm not intending to come off as passive-aggressive. I do think I have the right to ask for answers, though. This is the second time you guys have planned things with, I don't know, barred out Nijisanji thing in Nijisanji and excluded me from it. The first time it was, oh, it's just for the probably a Gen peeps, which then changed to, if I comes, he's gonna bring Vox, and now it's, oh, it's because Enna's bestie is in it. Which then became, oh, it's on for the Nijisanji event. Why does the reasoning constantly keep changing? I had to find out from the people coming here themselves that something was even happening. How do you think it looks to them when they come to me and say, Ike, you're in this thing too, right? Are you coming to the Nijisanji event? And I go, what Nijisanji event? You guys are coming here? They are shocked that you didn't tell me anything, especially when they are staying in the same area that we both live in and I'm 5 minutes away. Is it really hard to not see this as a repeated instance of purposeful exclusion? If I'm not wanted, I'd rather you just tell me up front so I don't waste my time. Just remember that they are my friends too. She says, first of all, I thought whatever we talked about in Nijisanji was something we had put behind and started a clean state. I just want you to understand that during the time when This is, I think, Remu. When Remu and Vox were on bad terms, Ike might bring Vox if he comes, which is something said to let Remu mentally prepare might happen since we, at the time, didn't know that you were also not on good terms with Vox. It wasn't meant in a way where anyone wanted to exclude you. I think you keep pushing that idea onto me and Elira, and it's really unfair. Also, as I said, this August trip was something that was made plans in Hangouts because we were tired to go to Nijisanji event this year. And this is mustard yellow, so I think this is Wilson and Aya were planning to go. You can even ask the people involved in the group chat. This August trip is something impulsive, and I feel as of now you know how Nijisanji plan things when it comes to hangouts like this. People plan at the last minute or just do whatever they feel that day. We did not plan this intentionally in mind to isolate you or exclude you. I do know for a fact that they're coming, but we had no set of plans, and that's the reason why I asked you if you wanted to go to censored Nijisanji event with us. I just haven't made the group chat because I've been dealing with a death and I'm honestly tired of being blamed for something that is supposed to be a casual hangout. Ike responds, I do think I'm bringing up valid points, and it's a little bit disappointing that you're resorting to attacking me in return with terms such as passive-aggressive and bringing up a previous incident that by and large was never resolved because I feel that I never got an answer. There are still conflicting accounts coming from everyone involved, and I wish to know why that is. When I brought up the whole if Ike comes, he'll bring Vox to your face in person, you act shocked and appalled when you said, what? Who said that? Nobody has said anything like that. But now you're telling me you knew all along. I don't understand, which one is it? Also, Remu is the one that claimed that you were the one that initially said it. But then when I asked you during that one dinner, you said that you didn't. Why is that also conflicting? I'm really just trying to get answers as to why no one can seem to get the story straight. Also, and this is just circumstantial evidence, mind you, but I wouldn't be the first time that you guys have excluded someone. I know for a fact that you did the very same thing to Nina. And when she asked about it, you told her that it was all in her head to her face. Whoa, the same wording's coming back, only to later admit to her that you did in fact exclude her. That does hurt your credibility somewhat. And how do we know this is Nina? Because in this screenshot here, and we know we have the original of that, right? In this screenshot here, she color-coded the two. She's in a Discord call. This is from Remu POV. She's in a Discord call with another person that's also this salmon color. And if you look at the original screenshot, who that was, it's ta-da! It's Nina. It's Nina. So let Barry cook. That's all I'm saying. Let her cook. So confirmed. Nina was excluded and bullied at Nijisanji. My former partner confided in his coworkers about the exclusion from collabs, events, and constant ghosting of messages. The harassment and exclusion from collaborations and professional opportunities were repeatedly dismissed by all parties as mere relationship drama and to report to staff. Mary has been caught bookmarking, archiving sites in the past. VT, Mary FD, and there's also this archiving 4chan thing. There's 4chan here. Even though 4chan is an anonymous website, the posts were sharing sensitive information that was not public knowledge. So now we're going to get into the, threats and harassment and doxing allegations. So I forgot to add something about the Ike being... Ike given his permission to share screenshots. There's another thing that Remu alleged in her document. One point that she was making is that she showcased her last conversation with Ike, right? And she showcased us that because she kind of wanted to make the point like, look, I'm good with Ike. It's just Barry's being a crazy Menhera girlfriend. But now Ike has given his consent to show these screenshots. So this totally disproved that Remu and Ike are on good terms. Even though 4chan is an anonymous website, the posts were sharing sensitive information that was not public knowledge. For clarity, these 4chan posts contain information that only a select few would know, including details about my relationship with my former partner and my friendships with mutual acquaintances. These 4chan posts were found specifically referencing the boundary my former partner and I set with her in 2023. I also only opened up to specifically her wave about my audition because at the time they were my friends. I was only made aware of these 4chan posts because Mary had previously vented to my former partner about her insecurities with her relationship dynamic, highlighting 4chan. This being said, how would anyone know that I was in a relationship with a bigger streamer if they didn't know who I was? So this part is a little weaker, but I still understand her point about the whole doxing thing. So she's not using doxing the way most people would use it. She's kind of just repeating what the Nijisanji manager said. He said that he's found some doxing comments on her locked account, but it does seem like there's been private information that was disclosed on forums where Barry is like, the only person that knew this information were those people. So how did 4chan find out? And before those screenshots, before this happened, 4chan was only referring to her as Ike's emote artist, or like they thought she was just like a fan of Ike, right? But then suddenly she starts getting called Ike's Menhera girlfriend or Ike's girlfriend. So this is why she believes that Mary's behind it. But let's read some of the screenshots first, because I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Community is full of petty drama, people dating, girls acting like cats, guys grooming. Barry falls into petty cat girl dating people. Barry is also a cunt, lol. She's known to being explosive with girls before even meeting Ike. And I'm surprised Aya is there. My guess is this is cut off. So who's this Barry person and what's her connection with... we don't know who Red is. We're still working on that. And or Aya. Aya and Red in Barry's stream. Sorry, Barry. Good luck with your current Nijisanji audition. So she's saying here that she only told her wave about her audition. Next time, don't tweet about it and delete it fast. And then here it says, stop shitposting about Ike. He's going to have another meltdown on Twitter and ask to stop making him stay at someone else's house. Or someone else's SH. I can't really make out what's there. It's kind of cut off because it's just an archive. There was a recurring pattern in which the post would resurface whenever I was in contact with our mutual acquaintances in person. I also want to point out the word Menhera. I noticed a pattern of her labeling women as Menhera. Oh no, I became jealous because there's this artist who he talks a lot on Discord. And in the first, he told me when our drama happened, he felt everyone's on my side, including you. Basically, she's just highlighting, we've read this, but because she is kind of Menhera. But on this point, like, I'm sorry, Barry, but 4chan uses Menhera a lot. This is not just for you. My former partner and I both supported her whenever she sought relationship advice, often alongside our mutual friends or in DM, which made experiencing something like this in turn all the more heartbreaking. Ike's crazy girlfriend, she's trying to get into, I don't know, Nijisanji right now. I hope she gets in and gets Menhera episodes with any girl that gets close to Ike. This girl has had so much drama in the Utaite community as well. I think she's been friend with... This is Anna and Millie for a while now. So suddenly again in 2025, my name was mentioned on 4chan with death threats. It was strange because the date of these posts correlate to the fact that she was being taken off a sponsorship around this time. This is what I believe is the NBA sponsorship she was taken off of. After these 4chan posts were found, no more mentions of Barry were happening, so I had hoped that this was the extent of the doxing. And she puts in parentheses here, talking about my private relationships / friendships that would occur since her departure from the company. So yeah, I think people wouldn't normally call this doxing, but if this information can lead to more information, I could see how this is leaking sensitive info. It's not enough on its own, but it is personals, and it could lead to more identified information, and it could be dangerous. So she probably should have come with more evidence for that part, but we also can't throw away that the supervisor of Nijisanji said doxing comments. And remember from that screenshot, that Nijisanji representative, and also Ike said he got doxed, so there might be separate instances. And that manager seemed to know about it too, yeah. So remember from that screenshot that we had, the Nijisanji representative, he was replacing a Nijisanji manager that was like sick or something. So that guy was even higher ranking than the other manager. And then she says, reflecting on these memories have both been painful and bittersweet. I acknowledge my own insecurities, but I've never been an overly possessive or controlling partner to the point of malice. I've always been very vocal in my support for his friends and have constantly given back to the community I'm in. If my actions have ever caused discomfort, I wish that had been communicated so I could have responded with a sincere apology and greater respect. I did not know anyone from our mutual past felt that way. Despite several attempts to seek understanding through messages and conversations, my former partner and I struggled to find resolution and resorted to going to staff over the course of years of documented constant harassment, exclusion, and inaction. As evidence in our communication, when I raised concerns about her behavior and attempt to discuss the harassment, she dismissed my concern, characterizing me as jealous and insecure, even after all the talks and meeting me multiple times in person, receiving gifts and fan arts from me. During the same period, she was discussing on anonymous websites in DM, monitoring fans, and reviewing her ex-partner messages with said fans without consent. So both of them participating in jealous, insecure, and, girlfriend behavior. It's the point she's making here. After her response to my initial video, she sent me a cease and desist letter. I am not asking or encouraging anyone to harass or retaliate against Mary or her former employer. The information shared in this statement reflects my personal experience, perception, and understanding of the events as they unfolded. Thank you for your time. So the death threat allegations is pretty flimsy to me. I feel like she's kind of, failed to link that to Mary. The doxing is so-so. Probably shouldn't have called it doxing. Barry, you had one job. She was supposed to give us evidence for the rats, not believe the rats. We already had the rats. We needed her to give the evidence for that. So she kind of failed there. But she kind of cooked with the rest, not gonna lie. She gave us more elsewhere. So yeah, Ike talks about being bullied. Ike was upset. And Rima was involved in it, and there's a lot going on. And also, it's like Barry is made out to be, this crazy person, this, crazy Menhera girlfriend. But at the same time, the way she's being talked to, they kind of make you feel like you're crazy. Like, even just the way Millie is talking to Ike here, it's like, oh, it's all in your head. I think you're being passive aggressive. So I feel like that also kind of plays into that. Hey, you, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button. And I'll see you in the next video.